going on, collectors? Optical 20 here for another Hot Toys video review. This time it's Terminator Genisys, Guardian Terminator, and you can purchase this figure at bigbadtoystore.com. Just click the link on the description, and we'll start off with the box. It's a pretty box. You know, I like this artwork a lot. Unfortunately, on the figure, the eyes doesn't light up, so it's kind of misleading. And also the fact that you can't do this pose. I mean, I guess you could, but the hands just won't allow you. The hands here is a bit, you know, like angled and all that stuff, but it's a nice picture nonetheless. It says here Terminator Genisys T800 Guardian. The back of the box is, you know, pretty generic. It's one of those shoe type kind of boxes. It has some artwork on it, kind of like the red, you know, like generic Terminator. You know, when you get the red screen, it's kind of like you are the Terminator looking through your robotic eyes and all that stuff. So yeah, some warning labels, and also if you open it up, it's the you know, like I said, shoe type box. So on the side it says Terminator Genisys, you know, kind of like a nice stripe right there, and yeah, pretty cool. You know, and it's nothing special. I guess I never display boxes. The best box I guess I have gotten is the Christopher Reeves box. That one I do want to display because I think it's pretty awesome. And also the DX boxes are not bad. The DX13 I have, you know, it has some nice cool design on it. This one, the inlay, it's okay. You know, it kind of had cast and crew, and I guess the font that they use is kind of like what kind of is being listed when you're looking through his heads-up display. And as far as the accessories, it comes with two fisted hands, relaxed hands, and you know, one of them is the trigger finger hand. As you can see, the difference. I don't know if you saw it on the video, but he comes with, you know, sunglasses as well. And this nice shotgun is that his hands. I know it's pretty quick, but you can pause it if you want to. The fingers are a bit fat, and you know, it's Arnold's hands, so it kind of makes sense that it's, you know, I'm sure I haven't really you know, I haven't seen Arnold, but I'm pretty sure his hands are big. He's a big guy. He lifts a lot of weights back then, so it makes sense that he had got this like sausage fingers and all that stuff. But yeah, as far as accessories, he doesn't come with much. So those hands that you saw, sunglasses, and this shotgun, which is a nice paint application as usual. You don't really appreciate Hot Toys quality of paint apps until you get something like 3-0 and you get Rick Grimes, who's his gun is just, oh my goodness, it's pretty bad. It comes with a second head sculpt, which we would tackle later on, and also this pretty cool stand, same stand as DX13. So normally this stand you get it from DX figures, or you know, I've seen it from him, and also Batman Returns. And I always like this stand. They do take up a lot of space, but the fact because they do light up, so pretty happy with that. And as far as the figure itself, it's pretty nice. The movie, it's debatable. You know, it all depends on how you perceive the movie. I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. I've seen worse movies than this one. However, through Terminator standards, I would say that the Terminator with Bale, which is Salvation, is a lot better than this. The only saving grace with this movie is that, you know, Arnold was in the movie, so that's it. If he wasn't in there, I would say it would be a total wreck, but he was, so it's kind of like, you know, it's okay. The story is a bit, it's not my thing. I didn't like the story that much. It's a bit confusing, but at the same time, maybe because I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't really drawn into it. You know, Terminator 1 and 2 are gonna be classics. People are gonna talk about or remember that, you know, forever. This guy, you know, I think it's just gonna, you know, it's there. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if they're gonna do a trilogy or whatnot, but I hope it would be better than this, because it's really forgettable. As far as the outfit, it's pretty cool. Nice tailoring. As you can see, the jacket here, it's made out of pleather, I would say. But something new that I noticed is this hoodie. I know he wore this on the movie, so it's pretty screen accurate, but you know, the first time I've seen this in a 6 scale figure. So if you're doing any custom work and all that stuff, this might be a good piece to get. His pants are, you know, cargo pants. His boots, Typical Hot Toys boots, 1/6 boots, and nothing special about that. As far as the head sculpt, it's a pretty strong sculpt in my opinion. You can't really go wrong with it. You're looking at it right now, you won't say that it's not anyone besides Arnold. The battle damage I do like. I always like these features, but I gotta go back to the movie, or maybe at least just refer it to the cover. I wish his eyes would light up. That's one thing that I wish it came with. But as far as paint application, the total execution of the scar in his face, the open wounds, the metallic things inside, I think it's pretty well done. I don't know. I just have a thing for Terminator movies, even though a lot of people hates this movie. Like I said, I didn't mind. I don't mind having him in my collection at all. However, I did trade him for my good friend Casey. It was a good trade. Would I pick him up again down the line? Perhaps, for the right price. Because I got him, on a trade as well. So there's something about him, because I already got 2 Terminators, and it's, when you dive into the Terminator scene, it's kind of like Iron Man. You got him. I'm just showing you different lightings here, but you can't mistake this for anyone else. I think it's a really strong head sculpt. Really looks like old Arnold, and I like it. I really do like it. I just wish that it came with something that's a bit more functional, maybe a purse, or perhaps a light up feature in his eye. But other than that, like I said, I'm pretty happy with it. And any angle that you look at it, it's a strong head sculpt. You can put his sunglasses on, and it looks cooler. It's all the accessories that he comes with, and then he comes with a pretty clean head sculpt as well. So in reality, if you want to create 2, you can use this head sculpt. Is, I would say, arguably the most expensive part of this hobby outside of the body, but his body is pretty generic. It's not like customized like DX13 where the chest is exposed, or let's say the battle damage T800 from Terminator 1 where it has like blood because he got shot in his arms, or kind of like the Tech Noir. It's not like that. So you can actually purchase this body. I don't know if they have a bootleg version of the Arnold body, but I've seen it from the seamless body type as well. You don't really need seamless on this because you kind of cover all the joints anyway, but it's pretty easy bash if you really want to. However, I don't know why you would bash a T800 Guardian, because it's still widely available, and whenever you bash something, maybe you're saving a little bit of money, but at the same time you're kind of killing the resale value. So you're spending money on, that's what I did with my DX13. So I spent, I think, $80 or $90 for the original Hot Toys body, maybe another $20 for his pants and boots and inner shirt and belt and all that stuff, because the DX13 comes with a separate jacket and a head sculpt, which I don't have any plans on letting go of my DX13. Had I done the same thing with him, I would probably regret it. I'm gonna throw in a few poses before I wrap this thing up. As far as poses, his body is not really restricted to anything. His outfit is okay. It doesn't hinder any leg movement or arm movement, so that's pretty cool. You can do a lot of poses with him. However, as a character, he was pretty stiff. As you know, he's a lot older than Terminator 2, and even on Terminator 2, he wasn't really the athletic type. He's more of a buff guy. He was like a powerhouse, more than the like the jumping all over the place or doing some crazy stunts. He's more of an intimidating factor, as the Terminator. So in that manner, it still looks good. Now, as far as the head sculpt, of course, you're gonna base it off. It's not. One thing I don't like about that head sculpt is that it's not too different from the other. As a matter of fact, they share the same, expression. It's just that the other head sculpt is scarred, obviously, but It's not that big of a difference. Unlike, like, say, DX13. I think it's big enough. Like, there's a big chunk of his hair missing on the other part. Or let's say the battle damage one, where it's pretty much it's not battle damage, but it still lights up. So it's I don't know why you would switch Headsculpt. You would, but if you get bored out of it. But there's really no point, I guess, on having two figures of the same Guardian Terminator. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. As far as poses, you can make him hold his shotgun, kind of like in the movies. This is mainly the most pose that you're gonna put him in. Just he didn't really do much in the movies, like I said. I like the figure. Don't get me wrong. There's and it's not the figure's fault. There's good parts and bad parts in the movie, and also and unfortunately it translates to the figure. But me being a big Terminator fan, that's why I kind of got drawn into this figure. But the I would say the other part of me says that I don't really need him in my collection. However, if you decide to keep him, you wouldn't. I wouldn't say you wouldn't regret it. Maybe at one point you're gonna be like, this guy's boring, because he's a little bit boring. It's kind of like having how do I say this? Vision. Vision is great if you have the Avengers, but if you buy him on his own, it's kind of like, oh, why do I have Vision on my collection? I don't even have the rest of the Avengers. He's not a standalone. Like this guy, technically he should be standalone, but if you don't have the X13 or the Battle Damage T800, which I still both have, and I still managed to trade this guy in. So, that just shows you that it's a nice figure, but I guess it's not nice enough to convince me to keep it, if that makes sense. It's really nice, like the movements are great and all that stuff. It's just that, it's something about him. I don't know, I can't point it out, but it's not the figure's fault, because it's lovely. The figure itself looks badass, to be quite honest with you. It's just, I guess the character is killing it for me, or the movie is killing it for me. But this is one of my favorite poses from this figure, kind of like pointing the shotgun with one hand, and I think it's a pretty cool look. Just spinning it here, so you can see his jacket has a little bit of wire too, so it kind of has this flowing in the air motion. And just to show you how it looks like, it looks pretty cool with these two guys right here. DX13, even though it's an older figure, it's holding its own. The Battle Damage T800 is just a beautiful figure, if you ask me. It's just nice. The jacket, the dual guns, at least the one that I have, the glasses, it's just, and it's nice evolution if you're looking at this way. You get the T1, T2, and Genisys. Let's forget about T3, but it's nice, it's a nice evolution, like I said. But I don't have him anymore. I still got this too, which those are the figures that I'm gonna have a hard time parting away with. I mean, unless you offer me, somebody offers me like good, let's say, trade or money out of this one. I like those. They are iconic. They're the most iconic, and I wouldn't say they're the most iconic out of the films, obviously, but it's gonna be a part of our pop culture forever. I mean, how many years after the first Terminator, and here we are talking about Terminator Genisys. And I read that they're gonna do a trilogy for it, but they canceled it, I guess, because of the lukewarm response to this movie. But yeah, before we wrap this thing up, there you go. That's the figure in a nutshell. Nothing too exciting. It's not one of those fancy figures. However, you're gonna get, I guess, decent amount for your money, because it comes with 2 head sculpts, okay accessories. You got the glasses and the shotgun. You got the fancy stand. Better as far as money wise, as for your money, the figure, because you compare it with somebody like Vision, or guys like that, Black Panther, then you obviously get your money's worth with this guy. However, it's the character that would kill you in the movie. So it's totally up to you. Would I recommend it? It's hard to recommend this figure, unless you're a big fan. But if I were you, I'd save it for something else. So thank you for watching, guys, and please like and subscribe my videos, and I'll see you in the next review. Thank you.